Hey guys, today we are going to be looking at the Transformers RID uh, Landfill build team crew, I guess, and this is the Walmart exclusive. Obviously, in their very bright, like G2 Devastator yellow, and so yeah, I'm gonna go through all of them individually, like look through their vehicle mode, robot mode, their combined mode, and all the like variations of the combined mode, like all the ways you can orient them. I'm gonna try to get into all that. I think I can. So yeah. Um. So we'll start off right here in their vehicle modes. So yeah, I'll just put them off to the side, and then we'll work our way through them all. So one we're going to start off with, heavy load. And heavy load, there's little to no changes since his original toy was yellow in the original deco. So really the only changes are like these silver lines and stuff, I think, to my knowledge, and like these like dirt splotches and stuff. So those are the only things that I think are different on this toy, because he's yellow, he's a yellow dump truck. So yeah. And if you don't know, these two share nearly everything. Everything about these two toys, Hightower and Heavy Load, a lot of their transformation steps are shared. So yeah, he's a fairly decent dump truck. This is like his gimmick, but that is shown off more. I think he can, he can dump it a little, but due to his feet and the length of this, it can only go so far. And if you want to go more of a 90, you could, but it can, it's a series of hinges, so you could get it if you wanted to, but it doesn't look super natural, but you can do it. Other than that, it's just like a block, like what a dump truck would be. So yeah. Hightower, like I said, you can see the feet right there, and the arm, and the front and rear wheels. It looks very similar. Like I flip it upside down, and the toys just, you can tell that they're based on themselves, and they're very similar toys. But he is a wheeled crane, not a tracked crane. He's a wheeled crane. I think those kinds of cranes are used a lot in cities. I don't know. Do I look like a construction worker? No, I don't. So yeah, but he's a crane. I think no, it can't swivel. This can swivel a little bit. This can go up and down. And then this can move a touch, just a little bit, and you can stretch it, but then the gun wants to come out. So like that, the gun wants to come out. And I guess if you want to have him wielding his gun in crane mode, you probably can. But so yeah, but he does have the outriggers like that cranes have to keep them stable. I think it's just these two little ones. I don't think there are any other ones, no. So yeah, shares a lot of things with Heavy Load. So yeah. Wedge. Wedge, he is the leader, and so yeah, he's just a bulldozer. Obviously, they all have this like scratch, battle damage, whatever. Still looks better than Siege's. I'm just kidding. But he's just a little bulldozer. He has obviously the plastic wheels. He doesn't have actually working treads. The way he transforms, he just can't. But yeah, I like the fact that they all have transparent plastic for their windshields, for their windows. High tower, heavy load. I really like that, and it's not just like paint. I just like solid plastic instead of paint. So Grimlock, obviously, this isn't our Grimlock, but he can swivel, like the top of the excavator can swivel. You really have to push it down, or at least on my copy, you have to push this down before you swivel it, because the peg just isn't very long. And going into that port is that there's not a lot of like grip. So if you want to move it up and down, you have to push it down to keep it from just popping out. And then this can bend just a little bit, but not too much. And then the bucket, it can move fairly well. So in terms of articulation, and I'd say maybe play of the vehicle modes, Grimlock is fairly good and probably the best, because he can, his bucket can articulate and he can rotate around. Just on mine, the treads don't really aren't too secure, but that could just be mine. So yeah, there isn't too terribly much to talk about the separate individual toys. So like in the vehicle mode, just basically what I've always said, what you see is what you get. I don't really have too much to talk about with these things. So we're going to get into the transformation. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to start with heavy load. So on mine, I don't know why I can't get the arms to completely sit up flat like that. This one does a little. There's still a little gap, but this one, it's angled and it's a pretty big gap. I don't really care. If I were to display them in vehicle mode, then it wouldn't matter too much, but ultimately, I don't really care. So just pop that off. It's on that little peg. So I'm just going to move that up a little. Going to disconnect the arms, extend the legs, and on heavy load, he does, you'll have to put these back. You'll have to hinge that back up into him. Make sure that's fully extended. Bring that back up inside of him. Now, make sure it's fully extended. Flip out the foot, or the heel. This is his foot. Flip out the foot. Flip out the foot. Flip out the heel. There's his legs, all done. Now, we'll just bring that back down. Fold that out. Swing this around. And fold down the hand. Bring this out. Bring that down, fold out the hand. Now we'll swivel all of this around. And now this cutout will go over this combiner joint, like so. And yeah, so now you have to swivel this back around, flip out the head, close that up. And we'll just put this on his back for right now. We won't put it in his hand. And there we have heavy load. And so yeah, I like his body type for being a dump truck. He's just has a big build, like his shoulders are broad, his legs are just stompy. If you put this on, he does have a bit of a backpack, but once again, you can take it off and he can use it as his weapon, like this. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but you just put it in his hand, and you can grab with it. I don't quite know what you're supposed to do with it, but you can grab stuff with it. So yeah, obviously this is 2001, or this one I think was 2003, if I'm not mistaken. I might be. This like redeco, but their articulation is decent, and this is across the board. Is that heads can swivel, the arms are on ball joints, elbows are on ball joints. hips are on ball joints, knees are just a simple hinge. And I guess if you want to say that the toe can bend, then you can. Obviously, due to the way they all transform, they have no waist with what they have to do. So yeah, that's Heavy Load, and I just like him. I love the smirk on his face. He's just a happy guy. He's just loving life. So now, Hightower, he is a bit of a parts former. Well, he's not a bit of a parts former. He is. So, as you saw, I don't care about the crane arm because it turns into a gun, which looks fairly nice at the actual barrel. But this whole piece, you have to take it off. And right now, we're going to open this up, and it reveals a little gun, a little pistol. And I guess if you want to have Hightower have his big sniper rifle, you could give this to Heavy Load if you want to, because it's the same same like hole in his hand. So yeah, it's just a little pistol. I'm just gonna put this back in Hightower. I don't think there's a real specific way you have to put it in, just as long as it fits in. So yeah. And as you can see right now, it's the exact same thing as Heavy Load. Only difference is the way the arms are. They're not connected on the inside, they're connected on the outside. I think it's that and no, that's literally it. The hips are a touch different, maybe the tiniest bit different. So I'm just gonna quick flip him into robot mode and not talk about it too much because literally just showed it off. Now this is where it's somewhat cool. This goes on the back, gets plugged in. Now that goes down and the head plugs in like that. Gun or sniper rifle, whatever you want to call it. I do like the fact that it's big, but since it's so big, it just looks a little awkward to him. I don't know. So yeah, like I said, he shares a lot of everything because he is literally the exact same thing as Heavy Load, just a touch different. So yeah, shares everything with Heavy Load. And so yeah, obviously his chest is different, has a different design. There's some paint chipping, or they just didn't forget to paint it on mine. And I don't know his personality, but captures it very well. Obviously the face is really nice, and articulation is the same. Not too much to talk about him because I'd just be repeating myself for like I did on Heavy Load. Wedge. I keep forgetting his name, Wedge. So we're gonna split this, split the blade of the, split the blade. It will come unpegged, but we're supposed to hinge that back, hinge the blade back. Now this front piece we're just gonna unpeg, and this will become Wedge's gun. I don't know which way it goes, the little barrels. I don't know if it goes this way or if it goes that way. I'm just gonna flip it around and go this way for right now. Actually, we'll flip it around this way. Oops. Almost dropped it. So now we're gonna come back here just so you can see there's a series of hinges. And you're gonna hinge them up like so. And now you're going to extend that just a tiny bit. That's why it can't be like a actual working track, because it has to slide like so. Bring that up, and now unpeg the feet. Bring those parts out. Hinge the feet, the legs around. Bring the feet up. That one was a little tight. Just get arms out of the way. They're gonna come back here to this hinge. Bring it down. Fold out the head. like so. And now we'll just give him this, his little gun. And I like Wedge. Wedge, he's cool. I prefer his orange color. Just, I don't know. I still like this yellow because it's in between that orange and yellow. So it does fit. But obviously his face, it's very, he's trying to be serious. He wants to prove himself in the show. So yeah, but he's still a kid. And it looks somewhat like youthful, I guess you could say. I don't know. That's dumb, but so yeah. I really, really like this toy. I like the way they did his transformation, making the blades come up here and everything. And one thing, these guys are all deluxes, and he is a touch small. He is a little small because the other ones are deluxes. I don't know if anyone complained about him being a deluxe back in the day, but he is a touch small for being a deluxe. But really doesn't matter. I would be complaining about something that's 20 some years old. So I'm not, because he's going to be a combiner. So yeah. Now to Grimlock. Grimlock gonna just did it for me, but gonna take that off, and now we're going to disconnect just bring apart all the legs, swivel this around. I'm just gonna fold that out for right now. Fold these panels out, and I'm just gonna bring those down, getting ready to bring them apart. And now we're going to split this, but you have to bring the head out. Split that, fold out the arm, and now you're going to come down here and just fold out the claw. His claw right there. Bring that back down. Just get stuff out of your way. And now you can fold it back around. Now I'll just put it off the side. Do the same thing on this side. Just fold that out, bring that around, and now we can fold the head down, and there he is. Now we can just work with the series of joints and stuff in his legs to just bring them all together and stuff, like so. And now we're going to extend. I don't really know how you're supposed to put his legs, if they're supposed to be like this with the tracks facing forward, if they're supposed to just stay like this, if they're supposed to be like that, or if they're supposed to be like that. I'm going to put them like this, just because I'd want the knee. So, I don't know the actual way you do it. So yeah, and you just fold these out and flip that down. So, if this is wrong, I apologize if it's wrong, but I didn't do my research on how I should do it. So there he is, and now I'm just gonna take this and just drape the combiner peg or joint, whatever, over. Now we're gonna put that in that screw hole, and there we go. There we go. We have Grimlock all done. And I like his design, but he's definitely the weakest. He's definitely the weakest. It's a little unfortunate. I really, really like the toy. I've always wanted this toy. I've always wanted all these toys, but they're all fairly good. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's just the weakest piece of it on his own. He's still very good in combined mode, but he's still very weak. I like his face. You can't really see it here because it's all black, just with the touch of silver and the little bit of transparent for the eyes, for the eye visor piece. His articulation's fine, but his arms are a little weird. The fact that he has like the gorilla arms that, and the wrist can't swivel, his legs are a little finicky, is that he is not a bad toy. not by any stretch of the imagination, in my personal opinion, but just that he is one of the weaker, that he is the weakest of the set. So yeah, we're gonna quick bring them all in for a group shot, get them all situated, and so yeah, so there they all together. Obviously, the show colors, I'm just going to be saying show colors, they would obviously stand out more. You'd get to see Heavy Load on his own. You'd get to see Grimlock on his own. You'd get to see Hightower on his own and Wedge on his own. They would be much more easier to see in a group-style picture, I guess, like this. But still, they're fairly diverse as they are. Now, they still have decent enough color breakup to differentiate themselves when they're together. But I guess that could be like one of my only like qualm, but yet it's pathetic if I'm gonna say that, so it's not a problem for me. I don't display them like that, but I will show you as we are doing. I will show you how I display them in their real mode. So these two, I'm going to do the show configuration first. So that means Hightower and Heavy Load are the legs, and Grimlock are the arms. So I just put the accessories off the side, and now we're basically going to transform these guys back into vehicle mode. So I'm just going to quick do that, not talk about it, just flip them back. So yeah, there are 3 combinations where there's probably multiple combinations, like who can be the different leg, who can be the opposite leg. But when it comes down to it, there is essentially 3 combinations. One is the arms, one character is the arms, and 2 are the legs. So there's essentially 3. Hightower can become the arms and 1 leg, and Heavy Load can become an arm and 2 legs. Grimlock can become the arms and 2 legs. So I'm not going to go over the legs because we'll be here all day, which one can be which leg, but we are going to be doing which one can be which arm. And if I mess up the show configuration with Grimlock being the arms, oops, just freaking forgot about this transformation step. If I forget like how the orientation of how Heavy Load and Hightower need to be for this configuration, it's not that big a deal. So here we are back in our robot in the vehicle modes. So all we need to do is flip out the combiner joint like so, and I'll make Hightower this leg, the right leg, no, left leg, and we're just going to bring that down like so. And now you're going to fold out his feet like so, bring these down, the wheels, and now we're all done. Same thing here, bring the combiner joint out, bring it out like that, bring it down, flip out the wheels, fold out the feet. And I think if you wanted to, you probably could leave the bucket or the bed on Heavy Load, but I'm just going to leave him like this. Bring that down one more. And I suggest, I'm going to raise it up a touch, I suggest not just pushing them together, I suggest sliding them together. I think it's a little less like painful sounding. Like it doesn't feel like the joints are going to explode and they're going to blow apart. So there we have our legs all done. So we're just going to put them off to the side. Now on the Grimlock, going to take this off and he will transform with him. And he will transform nearly the same as well. So yeah, we're just gonna do that. We're going to splay out the legs. We're gonna flip them around. Bring this up. It is a bit confusing the way you have to put Grimlock. I think, yes, goes like that. This, like, orients, the arms orient themselves, like, very weird. And this just hinges down. It doesn't, like, actually fold out. So we're just going to straighten the legs out fully. And now, going to spin this around so we get the elbow. Like so. Spin the legs around so there's the elbow. And I think it just goes like that, I think. I can't quite remember. And that probably is up to you how you want to put it with the arms, with Grimlock's arms. But I don't really care. Like, if you want, just do whatever you want. I don't think it truly matters. When it truly comes down to it, like that, like, it doesn't quite matter how you put it, just as long as it's out of the way and like that. I don't know. But now you just take this, and I think you plug it onto the back of his head. The last time I read the instructions was when I got him at BotCon. And so the last time I pulled him off the shelf preparing for this video, and just slide the combiners, the joints together. And all the preparation I did for this video was I just took a look at a couple of the pictures of this one and the original colors, the original deco. So yeah, wedge. So I might be wrong on a couple of these things, so I apologize. Just slide those together, and like most of them, we're just gonna put him basically back in vehicle mode. So yeah, I apologize if I am doing something wrong, but I just think about like the preparation of figuring out how I should do it, but I don't. I just forget. So yeah, just do that. Spin it around. Flip that down. Flip the head in. You're gonna bring out the combined mode head, and that's good. So now this, we're just gonna put on like normal, how we would to put him in vehicle mode. And so you can put these up like this. I've seen some people put them up like this, but I like to do the show thing and put them out like that. I'm pretty sure they did it like that in the show. And it does get a little cluttered because you have to angle him and put him in and then turn him. And there's a peg, if you can kind of see it in there, that you just need to shift up and peg into a port. And there we go. We have Landfill. And in this configuration, it's not too bad. Just the legs are nice and stable because of heavy load and high tower. The arms are a little wobbly and stuff because of all the armatures and stuff that is in Grimlock. And we just put Hightower's gun in his hand like that, and we take Heavy Load's bucket and just put it up underneath of his arm like so, and there we go. There is Landfill, and it looks fairly good. And I have always wanted this toy. I've wanted it for a very, very long time. And yeah, he lives up to my expectations. He's not the best. He's not the best because he has to do 4 teams, and I'll finish that out in my conclusion. But for having 4 members, he does do a very good job keeping the members very decent toys on their own, and then making a very decent combined mode. The leg articulation is a little finicky, and the arms are touch finicky here, but they do have the best articulation. But the fact that they're ball joints in this mode is that the shoulders and elbows in this configuration are all ball joints. Is a little scary, not scary, but that you could easily get a very bad copy. Mine was basically sealed, or not sealed, but they're all in their box. So yeah, I got very lucky with mine. So yeah, so I'm gonna lower this back down. We're going to take wedge off, and we're going to turn the entire thing 90 degrees or whatever, and get on to the other mode. So I'm just going to take Grimlock off and leave those two separate for right now. Take all the accessories off. And there are all the different ways you can combine and match the weapons and stuff. So Grimlock, we're going to basically put him back into vehicle mode. So I'm just going to bring those down and out of the way. Bring his head back. Open those up. Bring that around. Close that up. Open that. Bring it around. And close that up. We're going to just do that, and you'll fold that up and leave his feet, or the combined mode hands, or Grimlock's feet, like so. Just bring that back up, use the series of hinges, and close that up. Dang it. So now you're going to swivel this down like so, and now we're going to extend the combiner joint like so, or it needs to go this way, right? So this needs to spin the other way around, or whatever. Screws will be showing, but it's not that big a deal. So we're gonna take him apart. Wait, yeah, we need to spin this around. Slide that together, and now Grimlock is the leg and Hightower is this leg, and now we're going to be putting heavy load in the configuration. So we're going to in the arm configuration. So all we're going to do, I think, is we're going to extend his legs all the way, so it's like this. Bring them out. I don't know what you do with, I don't quite know what you do with the arms, but we'll just have them like that for right now. Bring them out, bring this down, and it's going to be the same as what we did with Grimlock. We're going to just use this joint and bring it down and swivel it like so. And I think you just fold, I don't know what you do with the arms, but you fold this down to make like a claw. You fold this one around to make a claw. Same thing on this side. Bring it down to make a claw. And I'm just going to spin this around for right now. I'm going to spin that around. We're going to put this on like that. And we're going to slide him on. They are a little finicky just within these joints, within the joints that they have. The joint system isn't the best, so he does like lean to one side just naturally whenever he's built up. So we're going to flip up that toe, and we're going to put the gun there. We're going to flip up this one, and we'll put this in his hand upside down to make like a shield, like so. I'm going to move his arm back so he can put wedge on. And now you just, wait, I need to flip all of the joints around. because now wedge can't go on. So, oops. Just spin these around. No big deal. So, do that. And you can see it leaning, just the entire thing leaning to one side. And just, it's not that big a deal. I'm just gonna... It's been an awful long time since I've done all of this. Basically since BotCon. I'm just gonna take wedge out. And this is one of the more annoying parts of him, is that just everything is just barging around itself. And it makes it a little difficult for you to just mess with it. I'm just gonna take this off. To just be able to mess with it and have fun with the entire system of the toy when just everything is barging past itself and there's so much stuff you have to deal with. So I think I got it now. So obviously we use the like spline thingy, and instead of using this port like on Grimlock, we're going to be using these two pegs on these two ports, and I think that is the same going to be the same for Hightower as well. So yeah, so just bring them together like so. Just get everything all situated, the gun and everything. You guys can probably see the lean. I can see it, and it isn't too good. This wheel, yeah, we'll just put right here. Just fold it up like that. Grimlock is definitely showing his weakness here. Not like within his construction, but his engineering. Just that I don't know why it leans like that, why he leans like this. But that's the other configuration, with Heavy Load as the arms, Hightower as the leg, and Grimlock as the other leg. So yeah, the arms are a little bit shorter, and it does clutter everything up in the chest a bit more, and he does have a more disproportionate leg because Grimlock is skinnier, because he was probably prioritized as the arms, not the leg. But so yeah, we're just gonna move back into keep moving and go into Hightower's configuration, and then from Hightower's configuration to my final thoughts on him. So we're just gonna take everything back off once again. Just take everything off, move everything off to the sides. So yeah. So just put him back in vehicle mode. I think in the show they only changed configurations once, where I want to say that it was Hightower was the arms, but I cannot remember. But they only used this gimmick once in the show. So is it that much of a gimmick? Maybe not, but it still exists and it's still cool. So I'm gonna show it off. But so yeah, just put him back in to vehicle mode. Flip that back around, flip those back down. Just compress all of that. Do that. Just spin him around, spin that around. Slide that together. There we go. Put that off to the side. And now, once again, this is very similar to Heavy Load. because they share a body type. So going to just bring that down right now. Separate all that. I'm just going to take this off. I can't remember if you can do it with that connected. So yeah, just bring all of this apart like so. Just bring it all apart. And now we'll slide them together again. And now you can probably see that he's leaning to the opposite side. And you can just see that his arms are very short. So yeah. And this uses the same double pegs as heavy load. Going to just bring them together. I'm just gonna put this back on. I'm gonna put, you know what? I'm gonna put the gun up here, like as a cannon over top of his head, like that. Put the excavator arm in that, and then I'm just gonna do the same shield thing as I did on heavy load. And you can see him now leaning to the other side. And yeah, Grimlock doesn't make the best leg. And due to the short arms of heavy load and Hightower, they don't make the best arms. You can tell that there's a reason why they didn't push it very hard in the show. Oh, look, Grimlock doesn't have to be the arms, and Heavy Load and Hightower don't have to be the legs. But I still like the gimmick. I still like the fact that it's there, and it somewhat works. And I really, really like this toy. I have wanted these toys forever and ever and ever, and I'm glad that I bought them for very inexpensive. I got them for $20. I couldn't remember that. I had to go back to my BotCon video. And I'm glad I got them at BotCon. I'm glad I got them for a good deal. For $100 basically right now. I would, that's me. But for you who might not, just watching this, don't know, have any affinity for them. I don't have too much affinity. I just wanted the toys. So, yeah. And both decos, the show deco and this Walmart deco, basically go for the exact same to my little looking on eBay. But I really, really like the toys. I really, really enjoy them. They're very fun and they're very nice. I love the idea of a 4-person combiner. It was very difficult to pull off, and it's just a whole brand new experience when, power linksing or the multi-force, it's just 2 guys. One becomes the legs, one becomes the upper torso and arms. 3 guys, like the rail racers, one becomes the waist, one becomes the torso and arms, and one becomes the, crotch and the legs. Obviously, 4 teams, there's only one. There's only Landfill, and he's not the greatest because he is held back by having 4 members, because then there's the classic 5, 1 big torso and 4 limbs. Obviously the 6, like Devastator and Leo Kaiser, and I guess you could say Puzzler from the GoBots. 7, I don't know if there's a 7-member combiner team, and he's very left out, because he has to pertain to this 4-person combiner. It's a very cool concept. They need to try it again because he still does a very good job at it. But at being just a very good, mediocre, decent combiner for what he has to pertain to of being 4 members and being basically the hardest from 2 to 6, is that he's the toughest one that they could have done. But I just really like it. I like the toy. I highly, highly recommend it because it's just so fun. You can play with it, mess around with it. The different individual bots do the whole combination thing. Yeah, they're a bit old and they're showing their age and we need a new one. Uh, but it's just fun to see because he's a novelty. He's a novelty that there's no other four-person combiner. Like how there's at least, I don't know. I think there's multiple two-person combiners. There's, if you want to count it, Reflector is a three-person combiner. Rail Racer is a three-person combiner. So there's at least two. Then there's the four-person combiner. There's only one, to my knowledge, at least. 5, all the Scramble City bots and more. And then 6, there's at least Raiden, Devastator, and Leo Kaiser. So he's all by himself in this whole four-person combiner thing. And just, I really like him, and I'm glad he's on his own. My only gripe is that the regular Deco did his face better. You can see that a lot of his facial features get lost in the yellow, and it's just the silver paint on his head. I don't care too much about that. I can still see it. The camera might not. But it's just a thing to point out that just I prefer that on the other Deco. But I love the fact that they're all a uniform color. I like all the bots separate. If you're going to leave them uncombined, go for the regular Deco, the actual show Deco. But if you want a nice uniform combined mode like I do, definitely go for this Deco because you will get that uniform color scheme. Not saying that the show Deco color scheme isn't bad for combined mode, just I prefer this one. So it's like pick your poison. You're going to get the same base toy no matter what. So yeah, I really love this toy. I would definitely hold off on the toy if it's $100. If you can find it for as good as I did, or find the individual bots slowly at a time for like $10 to $5, $5 to $10, or even maybe 15, maybe not 20, but at least retail, which was 10, 15. Definitely, I would get them slowly over time, complete. If all of their accessories come off of them, especially Hightower, is that if you're missing one piece of them, they won't look the same. So, and if that doesn't matter to you, because literally the only thing you'll be missing in combined mode is accessories. So this piece won't be here, and the weapons won't be there. If you're going to throw them in combined mode, fine, get them like that. So for me personally, I would want to have the weapons. So that's really all I have to say. This video is awfully long, pushing 50 minutes. I apologize for that, but we had a lot to cover, and I'm very passionate about this toy. It's a toy that I've wanted for a very long time, and I'm happy that I have it now. And that, yeah, it is a little long from when I got him. I think like getting close to a year, but I'm just glad that I got to do this. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And if you can notice, I moved my desk. But that's really all I have to say about the Transformers RID Walmart exclusive Landfill. So that's all I have to say. So till next time, see ya.